Everybody. I hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon. I am still working through all of the kinks of starting up this new software going live to give information. I'm trying to bulk up the real estate stuff too, so bear with me as I keep working on improving this. In the meantime, though, I really appreciate any of you that are hanging out that want to chime in. I would love to talk to you and see how things are going for you today. Things are great for me. Real estate's really busy. I've got a concert tonight, Bad Sons at the Fillmore, which I will be photographing. I believe they're from Europe. So if you're in the Twin Cities area and you're looking for something to do tonight, come on down to the Fillmore. It's a wonderful place to see live shows, newer venue here in town. I want to go over how to win in multiple offers. This is something that keeps rearing its head because of the type of market that we're in right now, which makes sense because everybody's scared of it as a buyer and sellers are dying to get it. What they don't realize, though, is sometimes as a seller, getting multiple offers doesn't actually equate to the highest priced or the best situation. It just depends. Everyone's different. But I'm not going to talk about seller stuff. I just want to go over buyer things with you. So when you're looking at the market, if you end up in a multiple offer, which you're more than likely going to, and as a buyer, you can't be scared of that because it's the times we live in. We have a shortage of inventory. Although we're selling homes, they sell quickly. You're going to have to get in there and fight for it. It doesn't mean you have to give away the farm to do it, but it's really, really important that you take the time to prepare yourself for this, because the more you know and the better prepared you are, the better chance you have of getting that house that you want and not overpaying or putting yourself in a bad position. How do you do that? The first thing is making sure that you're fully approved from a loan officer here locally. I think that this is the number one thing that buyers forget to do, and I think it's not the best idea for a real estate agent to actually take buyers out that aren't pre-approved, because what if you're looking at homes right now that you don't have a clue whether you can afford or not? So that's really big. Once you get through the pre-approval process and you know truly what you can afford, the next thing that you want to do is make sure that the offer is a really good offer, a really clean offer. What do I mean when I say that? What a clean offer to me is something that it's not about contingencies. It's about making sure that and it sounds probably silly, that the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and I send over a very clean offer that does not need a lot of correcting. As a listing agent, when I see one come in that's very poorly put together and it's very half done, the first thing I think about is, okay, well, what is that a reflection of the buyer, or is that a reflection of the agent, and are we going to run into trouble? So writing a clean offer is really, really important. As far as the offer goes, you want to find out what the buyer wants, or seller, excuse me, wants. You don't want to go in blind. It's not like you're giving up your position, but it never hurts for your real estate agent to call. I call the listing agent every single time I'm going to write an offer, and I ask these questions. How many offers do you have? When is the highest and best? If so, is there anything that the sellers are looking for that's really important to them? And you'd be amazed at how many agents appreciate the phone call and will be very open and upfront. They're not giving away the seller position, but they'll say, we're really looking for one that has a shorter inspection time, or we want a closing date of X. Those are all normal. What worries me is if I get the agent on the line and they say, well, we're looking for a buyer who doesn't want to do a home inspection. That's a huge red flag for me. So I'm just looking to see if they want to close at a certain time, will that work? Because some of them don't want to close for 3 or 4 months because they've got family obligations. That's fine as well. Everything is a negotiation. So that's going to help you put a clean offer together. Having that flexible closing date, and then also too, shortening up your inspection time is always good. The standard seems to be about 10 days. So if you can talk to an inspector before you even write an offer and say, hey, we're going to be writing on this house. If we get it, can you try to find some free time for us over the course of the next 3 to 5 days to get in there and do a home inspection for us so that we can get this house? So it never hurts to plan ahead. The other thing is you can put more earnest money down. I've never in my 18 years ever lost anyone's earnest money. And the more earnest money you put down, makes you look like a stronger buyer, especially in the eyes of a bank if it's a foreclosure. But even with just regular home sellers, if they've got two offers in front of them, they're virtually identical. I've won these before because my client has put down literally $500 more in earnest money than the other offer. It literally comes down to that. So it never hurts to stack the box. Of course, you want to go in competitively, and that's the other piece. Before you write the offer, I'll look at every single one of these homes, take a look at all of the metrics, all of the sold comps, and all of the information to help you determine what I think the fair price would be. Like if I was going to list this house, this is what I would put it on at, to help you figure out, okay, what should we offer? That way, if you go in a multiple situation, you do end up going over. You're going over with your best foot forward. You're giving them their very best offer. And if someone wants to pay more or has more attractive things in their offer, then you let them have it. And you just go back to the drawing board. You're going to lose some houses. There's no way around it. It's going to be very hard to get the first one. But I don't think, thinking back, I've ever had a client who has been disappointed at the end of the day, once everything is done, that they ended up with the wrong house for them. So this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But just as equal as putting a good offer together, there's a few other things I want to mention to you that are just as important. These are the things that you should not do under any circumstance. Number one, write an offer with no inspection. I know that there are people who are running around with their clients saying, look, that's the only way you're going to get the house. As a listing agent, I don't really want to see an offer with no inspection because it leaves some liability for my sellers. I would much rather see them allow the inspection and then cover yourself legally by making sure that they had every opportunity to look at the house. But sometimes you're going to lose, and the sellers are just going to want no inspection. Lots of times it's not because they're trying to hide something. More often than not, they just want one less contingency that could slow things down for them. So having said that, if they're going to go that route, you can't control it anyways. You can only control what you can do, but you don't want to give that up because, I've lived in my house for 26 years, and I know there's some things wrong with it, things I don't even know about. So how can I be expected to tell you when I'm not even aware of them? So as a buyer, you're going to want to know what those are. The second one is escalation clauses. I'm not a fan of these. I don't think that they work. What it essentially is you put something in the contract that says, we will pay $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 more than the highest offer. All right, great. Well, the problem with that is then the listing agent has to show that offer to them, which you may not want to do. Secondly, I always think, well, if you're willing to pay more, why didn't you just come in with your best offer right off the bat and call it a day? Instead, now you're playing games, and you'll pay more if someone's willing to pay more. But if someone isn't willing to pay more, you're not going to pay more. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it paints you in a good light. Lastly, appraisal guarantee. This is the other thing that I think has gotten a lot of people in trouble. And what that is it's a clause you can put in the contract that says, let's say you're buying a house for $300,000 and you go in at $340,000 and you get the purchase. You write in there, if there's any issues between the sale price and the appraisal, we as the buyers will pay the difference. Well, if you don't cap that and you put that type of language in the contract, what's going to end up happening then is, let's say the appraisal comes back at $300,000. Now, not only do you have to put your 5, 10, 20% down and pay your own closing costs, on top of that, you got to bring another $40,000 to close. I just think, again, it puts you in a really, really bad position that could hurt you financially for a very long time. So if you walk away with nothing more than the last three pieces, that's more important almost than writing the clean offer, is not allowing yourself to end up in a situation that puts you at risk financially. So don't give up your inspection. Don't use an escalation clause, and do not under any circumstances put in some kind of a clause that guarantees the difference between appraisal and sales price. Those are the things that you have to know to help get you into a multiple offer situation to hopefully win when you're up against 2, 5, 10 offers, but also protect you. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you being so incredibly supportive and watching these podcasts and sharing them with different people. As always, if you have any questions on any kind of real estate, even if you just want to know what your house is worth and you have no plans of moving, I'm more than happy to do that for you free of charge to kind of let you know what's going on in the market. And of course, any other questions you have. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Enjoy the time at home when you're not working, and hopefully I will run into each and every one of you face to face sometime in the future at a concert or some event outside.